It's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's Superhero Slate. It's a modern podcast where we talk about everything that's great, like movies, TV, superheroes. It's Superhero Slate. Oh yeah.
Hello everyone and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris Dillard.
And my name is Mike Royer.
And this week, we're giving you a rundown of all the snackiest news we could find this week, Mike. It was by far the most delectable time I've ever had looking for show notes.
Yes, we're always being tugged and pulled in between. Do we want to talk about what the show is actually supposed to be about, or just our other love and passion, which is snacks? And I think this is the perfect time of year to start to lean the other direction. Yeah,
exactly. You got to get your winter body ready, right? For so you can win. What is it? The biggest bear award? Is that the thing that you know?
Fat Bear Week.
Bear Week. Yeah. So we can start competing ourselves. On that note, also Spider-Man 2 gameplay shows off how fast the PS5 makes this game run, Mike. I mean, I shared it with you, and I'm just blown away by the technical aspects of this game. So pretty stoked to talk about that with you.
The PS4 did not have the technical capabilities to render the craziness that was Brooklyn's and Queens.
Exactly. Two whole islands. I mean,
oh my God, 2 boroughs. Well, technically, I don't think that they're. Oh my God, that shows how little we know about the East Coast. I don't believe Brooklyn and Queens are islands.
In this game, they're treated as islands.
They will.
Will.
Yeah,
so
they will be island off. Yes.
Yeah. So we can do that. We also break down the Aquaman and the Lost teaser trailer because boy howdy did this land like a wet fish, if you will, this week. I've actually forgot all about it until I was making the show notes. I'm like, oh yeah, this is happening. And there are, I believe James Wan either did interviews or is doing interviews. I think he can talk about it, right, as a director.
He's the only one that's allowed to,
yeah. So it's very much an interesting kind of thing for them. So we'll see how this is going, talk about the trailer and more.
Yes, I want to applaud Chris here at the very top of the show. He has been a technical wizard in the last couple of weeks, he's been kind of pulling in the normal videos that we've normally been making, or I should say he's been making. He's been running them through like cool like AI like tools and programs and like auto editing and cropping and swapping for vertical. So now we have these really awesome like vertical video snippets of our podcast with really cool captions on top of them, like baked into the video that now we can share on social media. And not just that, like I told him in a text message like weeks ago, I was like, the holy grail for me, Chris, would be some sort of system that could take our videos, make it vertical, slap on captions on there, and he basically got to it in like it took him like a couple of days. It was nothing for him. But now on top of that, for like the first time ever, we are live streaming this recording right now into YouTube right now. I found out that this was happening 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, not even 5 minutes ago. It was less than that. So absolutely,
that's how Chris rolls. But it speaks to the creativity and ingenuity of Chris, but also just the way that we have built the show out over like 8 years, which is crazy, that we got it down to such a science that we don't really need to edit the show a whole lot. We really could just theoretically live stream like what we say into the microphone. I mean, barring any sort of like technical issues, or like sometimes my internet goes down and then we have to redo things, or I don't know, something crazy happens like on the other side of the wall, like I don't know, satellite drops from Earth.
Or Mike doesn't have an air conditioner for like 2 months.
Oh my God!
And he's like been baking, and he finally gets it.
Screw this. Screw your technological achievements. Forget the live streaming. My air conditioner is finally working. It's been 7 weeks. 2 of the weeks I was out of town, so that's been 5 straight podcasts in a row where my wife it was like a game to her, where she would hear me wrapping up the podcast, and then she would like be counting down in her head like 5, 4, 3, 2. She'd hear the door swing open, then I'd go, oh God, because it would get so hot in here, and even just the hallway was still hot, but it was at least 10 degrees cooler than it was in this room. So I'm finally air conditioned, of course, as like the summer kind of starts to peter out and we're about to talk about, the fall coming in. But at least now I can comfortably chat. I mean, I don't know. Maybe people really liked my mental breakdown the last 5, podcasts.
It's been fun. So to watch him slowly, knowing in the back of his head, like as we get through these bullet points, like instead of counting more bullet points, we're counting down bullet points for Mike.
Yes. Let's get a little tape here on the mic. This is me opening the pouch for my temperature gun that I happen to have right here that I've been using to monitor the creeping temperature.
He actually holsters this on his belt every day, people. So let's not.
You know what the great thing is about this? When the AC people were here on Friday, after everything was fixed and everything was running, one of the managers or whoever the dude in charge was came through. Like he's like, I'm gonna do my final sweep. I'm gonna use my little temperature gun here to make sure the temperatures are flowing well. And he pulls out the same one that I own.
Nice.
And I was like, dude, I own the same one. And he looked at me like, why do you have one of these? And I was like, I don't know either, dude. Okay, so historically there was a spot on the wall that was reading between like 85 to nearly 100 degrees.
Yep. Yeah, 85. I think 85 to 90. I would give you a range for during the show. And
we are at a nice, comfy 71.4 degrees. That is podcasting temperature, folks.
It has been. I've been here where I am. I woke up to 55 degrees. So that's pure fall weather right here in the Midwest. And I woke up and I'm like, I'm really glad Mike got his air conditioner this weekend. But it was nice. It's good. Yeah, and one of Mike's, obviously we were getting video updates of this. Mike, they put it on your roof because they have to put them in the roof on the roof out there in LA.
Can somebody explain current AC technology? I grew up in the Midwest, Chris, as you are familiar with, and I'm sure you could walk out to the side of your house right now and how large would you say your air conditioner is? Like compare it to something like maybe like a washing machine or like something like, or maybe a little bit smaller than that.
It's short. I would say it's wider than a washing machine, but shorter, if you will.
Yeah, but like overall volume-wise, you kind of get the idea. And that's kind of how it is across a lot of like the middle states, right? When you don't have to put your freaking AC on the roof. This thing that they brought over is gigantic. Like this thing could cool down a Walmart. I just wasn't expecting it to be so huge, but I wasn't upset about it. I was like, yeah, throw that thing up there. I want to turn this place into like an ice castle. I want Elsa to come up in here and be able to stay a weekend.
Oh
I'm excited.
That's great. I mean, I'm excited. That's a big win for Mike, guys. I'm just clapping my hands for you over here. But let's jump into this because we are live streaming. I don't think we have any viewers. I'm going to be honest right now, Mike. We'll do a viewer count, like how many views we got.
Chris,
none.
To be fair, when most people live stream, they kind of do like a live stream like waiting room, right? Like the program will start soon. You literally hit live the second that we started recording, of course nobody's here yet.
Yeah, exactly.
But if anything, this just helps get a video on YouTube way faster because you don't have to edit a bunch of stuff before it gets uploaded.
Exactly. Well, and also I'm going to put it there because obviously people who listen to us, they know we are very adamant about our quality, right, of our audio. It's like we may fool everyone to think we're a high-rate, expensive podcast, but we are just two dudes with microphones across the country. But we're having a good time. But yeah, I'm going to do a viewer count. We have one view. It might be me. I'm sharing the link out as we talk, Mike, so hopefully they're listening and we'll see some chats. But let's go on. You talk about what you did this weekend because you have been out and about on the town. Even though you got your air conditioner done, you didn't enjoy that for 1 second.
Dude,
you went out about.
Yeah, I had this. We had this play that we were going to be going to this weekend, and I almost didn't want to go because I was like, I kind of just want to stay home and be like chill and chill. And I just got my copy of Tears of the Kingdom, so I started getting into that. But I was like, no, this is something I want to go to for a while, and it's a play called Peter Pan Goes Wrong. And if you're unfamiliar with this, like I was, there's this theater show called, just in general, The Play That Goes Wrong. And the whole impetus is you show up and it's supposed to be like you're trying to watch a play, but everything on stage starts to go wrong. And then there's gags happening everywhere. There's wacky antics. There's like parts of the set falling down. The actors trying to keep up with it. And it's all staged and it's all scripted. But I've seen clips of it on YouTube and social media over the last couple of years. I was like, man, one day I really want to see this. This is really funny. Well, they're out here in LA and they're doing a new play called Peter Pan Goes Wrong. And it is just like hilarious. So it's exactly how I described, Chris. Things going wrong on stage. stage. There's like the laughs per minute are out of control. I would say it's probably closer to like laughs per second. There's always something happening. It's hilarious. But the great thing about it is everything I wasn't expecting, right? When you show up to a play or a musical or anything like with a stage, right? You show up early, you're waiting for the curtain to go, you're waiting for the lights to dim. The show starts before that even happens because there's like fake crew people walking around like asking like, hey, we're looking for a hammer. Have you seen like a hammer? Or they're on stage like trying to get the lights to work and they're bringing out like jumper cables and stuff like that. And it was just really, really funny. The kind of like quote unquote fake directors like walking around like messing with people. So it's like this whole like it's kind of experimental theater vibe. It's so funny. I don't know if it's going to be going on tour because it's ending its run here in Los Angeles soon, but Peter Pan Goes Wrong. Just like Google it, find their website or whatever. You got to see it. It's so funny. It's one of those things where like you're laughing so much that like once you get about like 35-40 minutes into it, you're just like, I gotta take a break. Like I can't just my body cannot keep this intensity up. And I like lost my voice a little bit at the end of last night after it. But yeah, Peter Pan Goes Wrong, hilarious. And there's a spot in the show built for a narrator that also participates in the play a little bit. But since we're out here in LA, they rotate through some celebrities that do it. So I think Daniel Day Kim was there earlier. And then our showing had Neil Patrick Harris, which was awesome because there's a part in the play where like Tinkerbell like dies because she's electrocuted and they need to stall and entertain the crowd. So Neil Patrick Harris is just like, oh, I'm a professional. Did anyone want to see some magic? So it's just all great all around. It's hilarious. If it comes to your town or anywhere close, it's totally worth the drive.
So I just pulled it up. It played its final Broadway performance in July. It's in LA for 5 weeks, and today, September 17th, is literally its last day with no other date. Man. So you've literally sold a show that will never be seen again, probably.
I mean, it was popular, successful. Yeah. The stage is really, really cool. It's one of those kind of rotating ones with like different pieces hidden behind it. So yeah, just keep a lookout. I feel like it could come across the country.
This is one of those situations where I wish they filmed more plays and put them out for streaming or rent. Like, hey, I would rent or pay to watch a play at home, right? Like kind of like how Hamilton came out during Disney. I would love to see more of that. I would love to experience that. We were talking literally with someone about Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark the other day, like in our group chat, and the play that killed people, literally. So I'm like, I've got a couple cam versions of this, but I would love to have seen a filmed version. But this is not the only play in the news this week, and we're not going to talk about the other one, Mike, that happened in Colorado, despite how funny it is. But this play has pirates, and you know what else has pirates? One Piece.
What's that, Chris?
One Piece. So I finished. I don't normally get to a lot of shows quicker than you do, Mike. You have a lot more binge time than I do some days, and I sat through about 3 episodes of One Piece today to finish it off, 6, 7, and 8, and I am so excited for this show, Mike. This is so
Isn't
fun.
It wild?
It
is so weird.
It gets so much more fun. I don't. Have you? You're behind me, I believe, by 2 episodes. So but you've been to the Barate. Is that what it's called?
The restaurant, the floating restaurant.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And you've met the man with the crucifix for a sword.
Oh my God!
I love him.
when they introduce his character in that kind of like cutaway of like he's just battling some other pirate on a beach, he picks that sword up and freaking cuts the boat in half. Yeah. I was like, this is what they're doing. I mean, I was going to save this kind of like analysis for when we get to the last One Piece topic at the end of the show, but now like I'm into it, right? You can't stop me.
No. Like, you are going to be king of the One Piece, Mike.
They have found this great balance, and I feel like maybe this was the key to adapting anime live action all along is you got to pick and choose your battles to what you display on screen as cartoony and what you display as like realistic and live action, because anime is such a like, I don't want to say bizarre world because I don't want to make it like, I don't want to seem like disrespectful.
It's exaggerated. It's an exaggerated world.
Exactly. It's so rich and unique that like you just can't dull some of that stuff down or explain it in any way, right? I mean, like that man, he picked up his sword and cut a boat in half. Like there is no way like any human being or anything has any chance of beating a man that can do that, right? That's like the nuclear like option for his sword, right? But he can do it. But of course, like just in typical anime style, they're gonna come across him later down the line, you know, and somebody's gonna beat him in some like cool way. So it's just like, it's just an amazing light touch that they're like kind of like putting on like the meter of like, okay, let's get wacky, okay, let's bring it back down. Let's get wacky, okay, this is totally unbelievable this would never happen, and bring it back down.
Yeah, I would say their actions are exaggerated, right? Obviously you have a person who's rubber, right? Kind of a, you know, and stuff like that, sword fights and all this other, you know, things, but like I guess the conflict feels real, right? Like the people and are taking it seriously and it feels serious. So when it comes back in, like, oh, you feel the conflict between these people and like what they're fighting for and against, and then like, you know, the set pieces it kind of blow back up. But absolutely, that dude, his name's Hawkeye. I think they call him Mihawk. I think is his name in the show. They call him Hawkeye with his nickname. I was like, this is one of the characters I've been waiting for. I don't know anything about One Piece. I didn't know he existed, but once I met him, I'm like, he's got the golden eyes. He's got, you know, his crucifix sword with the curved tip on the end. He's you know, using it to split boats in half. I just had such a great time. And my wife joined me literally on the last episode, and I'm like, she's like, who's that? What's this? What's going on? I'm like, oh my gosh, you have to go back and watch this because none of this makes sense anymore. Like you're not gonna understand what's going on. She's like, why is that guy got pink hair, and why does the other one look like, you know, He-Man with his little bob haircut? I'm like, boy, let me tell you what.
Yeah, I'll put it this way: like they're doing such a good job at the most entertaining points that you'll see a character wearing a hoodie that sports like a modern zipper. Like this looks like something I could go down and buy at Target. It should not exist in the One Piece universe. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, right? No. I suppose there could be like high-end zipper factories on this planet, but like you can tell like the costume department's just like, yeah, this just looks like something the characters would wear in the anime. Right. It's just like really, it's like, I don't know if like how exactly the lore of the world of One Piece is, you know, built. I don't know if it is kind of more of a modern society and I'm just used to kind of like a pirate setting being, you know, more tapered back in a timeline.
Pirates of the Caribbean, right?
Yeah. And then like some people are like, I swear, just like straight up wearing like t-shirts with modern stitching. I mean, like Zoro had like a black t-shirt in a couple episodes that just looked like it had a screen printed like V on it, but I'm like, I don't care. Yeah. This is fun. The actors are great. Right. And I do have to say, like, the actors were also great in Cowboy Bebop as well. Like that was the one thing that I really loved about Cowboy Bebop was the chemistry between all the people. But I think One Piece they're just really lucky that the universe is just so interesting and people want to see more of it in a different way.
And literally you could throw anything at me and I'd be like, yep, that's One Piece. Like I'm like, yeah, I don't know any different. Like I think having no, you know, connection to it makes it better for me as well. But it's still a great show regardless. I'm sure obviously One Piece fans are digging this and really getting their, you know, getting something out of it, which kind of gives me hope, Mike, for Avatar The Last Airbender when it comes to Netflix, right? Like I feel like they did this right. I'm like, there's opportunity for Avatar to be good now too. Oh man. because it's kind of a similar world, right? There's a lot of boats, a lot of ocean, a lot of going around different islands with different abilities. I'm like, there's a lot of parallels here, which I'm like, okay, if they do this right and they're I know it's not the same people, but I'm like, you could probably, maybe the people at Netflix are like, you need to make it good, and you know, here's an example of it. So we'll not go. I just love it. And also for people who aren't watching One Piece, I would also say this kind of reminds me of, just to be honest, Mike, of how Marvel's doing it. Every 2 episodes is really an arc, right? Like every 2 episodes of One Piece is like one story. So there's like 4 good, like solid stories. Now that you can watch the individual episodes alone, but like you're going to end on one and it's going to be a cliffhanger for the next one kind of thing. So I think it's a really fun time. So yes, absolutely still recommending One Piece. We'll talk about it more later in the show, but let's jump into snack time. And I put snack time in here, Mike, because snack time is the only time that we like. This is like the week where every different flavor and variant, and everything was in stores for once, like well stocked, because people are bringing in their Halloween candies. I'm like, we got to talk about this stuff, and that includes the drinks. My cats are yelling because my wife.
I was gonna say, like, wait a minute, Chris doesn't have kids. Like, why does it sound like there's a baby wailing in the background?
We have an orange cat, and she has real big orange cat energy, which means if she feels like she's being slighted or not paid attention to, she wants some attention.
Oh
but
my God.
she also knows.
I love that.
Yeah, so we're gonna talk about snacks, and Mike, you've not had a chance to try all these yet, and that's fine. So we're not gonna spoil. Well, you can't spoil drinks, I guess, but we're not gonna we're gonna talk about things, and if you want to try them, great. If not, no. But the first one we did both try, Mike, and that is Fanta's mystery flavor for 2023.
Boy, there's gonna be two parts to this. This right here.
Yes. So first and foremost, the Fanta mystery flavor, as you can see on our thumbnail images, if you're listening, it's just a black liquid with a kind of a green to it that I feel if you put under a black light would be very much like a glowing bottle, right? Like a very spooky green. Probably meant for if you're going blacklight golfing or something like that. So
yeah, it's that technique of if you take any color from the color wheel and just make it as dark as possible, it ends up looking black. But in reality, there is a tint to it, and that will come back up later.
Yeah, green, just like the logo, Mike. So I've only seen this in zero sugar. I'm sure there's not a regular. I don't know if Fanta does regular sugar versions. But Fanta does not have caffeine in it, as I found out as well this week. I did not know that, by the way. So you can buy this there. So I found mine at a Kroger, which is local to me. You guys have Ralph's out there in LA, right? Is that where you found yours at, or was it Walmart?
I ended up getting mine at the local gas station down the street. So they're out there. They're in the world. Also, kind of cool, as everybody knows, me personally, I don't know if on the show, but I love Coca-Cola freestyle machines, and these
it's actually a problem, Mike. We got to talk about this sometime.
And these are in the Coke freestyle machines, but not just as a little flavor option. It has its own branding. It has its own button up in the corner on the main screen, and there's this huge splash screen that it takes you to. It's really, really cool, but it wouldn't let me get it early. It was DRM.
It was locked.
Soda flavor was locked.
Yeah, you can pre-install this button or flavor, or I guess maybe it's already in the cartridges, but you cannot have it. I'm like, and I'd already had mine. I'm like, that's really weird. I could just go buy it off a shelf, but Mike's gotta, go bribe somebody on the freestyle machine. But I had it, and I would say this mystery flavor. This is just pure conjecture. We don't know what it is. Tastes very much like the candy Sweet Tarts, if it was in a liquid form. Specifically, I think maybe the red one a little bit more than others.
Yeah, it's a weird concept, right? Because you would think if you look at Sweet Tarts at face value, it's just flavored sugar, right? And that's all soda in general. So how are you translating that anyway to a soda? They found a way, because it tastes exactly like it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's very much if you like the idea of Sweet Tarts. Sugar-free Sweet Tarts, by the way, it has that sugar-free flavor to the soda. So you can buy this, and I think it comes off right. Even the smell of this drink is like Sweet Tarts. When you open and crack it open, I'm like 100% Sweet Tarts, Mike. So I think that was pretty good. It's fine. I don't think this is something I'm going to hunt down or stock and store up on this year. It's not my Pitch Black. My Mountain Dew Pitch Black is I put that on a pedestal, but it's okay.
Most of these mystery flavored anythings that I've ever tried are never something that you usually go back for, right? You're there purely for the novelty of guessing the flavor and then moving on. Yeah. But this is a classic moment for the Superhero Slate PSA.
Yes.
Something that I love to do whenever I can to warn our listeners out there, just so they're better educated. And I just this is not medical advice.
This
but
is the second non-medical advice you've given this week, Mike, and that's really concerning. But yes, go on.
So if you've never consumed something essentially dyed black, if you will, it's gonna.
It doesn't come out black.
Yeah, it's gonna do things on the inside, and then when you quote unquote see it again, colors are going to change, right? I think we've all experienced that to some extent in our past. But, Chris, this mystery Fanta flavor, the color-changing science that happened inside of my body that
Yes.
I saw the next day.
Yeah. They don't make an emoji this color yet, Mike. So you created one for our podcast.
I looked down, and for a brief moment, I thought I was dying. I'm not even kidding. I thought I need to go to the hospital right now. And then another neuron hit the loop in my brain. And I go, oh, wait a minute. Yeah. Something like this has happened to me before, not to this extreme level. Okay, let the next neuron come. I had the Fanta yesterday. Yes. That's what's going on here. So if you go out there and get this bad boy, just look out for the next 24, 48 hours. I don't want anyone to freak out. I don't want anyone to feel like that they're going to die.
This was a great thing
here
because Mike came to me 2 days later. He's like, I meant to ask you something, and I'm like, oh no, like there's no, like this was out of the blue, out of nowhere, and he was like, what color was it when you went to the bathroom the next day? I'm like, well, green, bright green, Mike, and that's when you were like, yep, that sounds right. So
it's so crazy. Like I would never take a picture, because I'm not that type. But I was so close to taking a picture. And I'm like, I feel like I want to show this, but I can't. So I let it go.
Save it for when you get your iPhone 15 Pro Max and use that 48 megapixel.
Oh my God, that zoom in, let those pixel bidding do their work.
The Superfan Jim is commenting on our live stream, by the way, right now, and he says the Fanta went in Banner and came out Hulk. So,
oh my God, yes,
it's very, very similar to that. Absolutely. So, Mike has, we talked about it. We confirmed it. We both had the same reaction across the country.
Cannot believe our very first live stream comment was about this specific topic.
Yeah,
all the things
I
could have been.
Absolutely, I 100% like this is totally on brand for us.
Oh my God, we got let's move on.
Okay, this is crazy. The next thing is obviously Mike was telling us about using AI for our show earlier. Well, Coke decided, hey, Superhero Slate's using AI. We got to use AI to create a Coke flavor called Y3000. And it comes in regular and zero Coke flavors in this bright, I would say not bright, but like a baby blue bottle kind of label to it. And I was able to get my hands on that this week. Mike, were you able to get your hands on the Coke
Y3000?
Yes,
I was able to try this one. Yes.
To me, it's got that dark berry Dr. flavor taste to it, like a little, like a very dark. Something dark was added to this Coke. It wasn't like a lighter flavor, like a lighter colored liquid. It's like a darker liquid, like a dark berry, like a deep cherry, like a dark cherry. Maybe a black cherry.
If this was truly created by AI, I don't know what that means. I don't know if they kind of like ranked all of their flavor additives and shot it through Chat GPT or whatever. But it does taste like an amalgamation, right? It doesn't taste like we're supposed to know what flavor it is. It tastes like we're supposed to, I don't know, glean a few different flavors. Like I get a little bit of, in the background, kind of like a caramel or a cooked sugar or like a slight marshmallow or like a maple or kind of like one of those flavor notes. I'm getting one of those in the background. But then also, there is something fruit adjacent. I had my wife try it, and her and I both think that there seems to be some sort of like apricot lean on it somewhere.
Someone has said like a peach aftertaste, a little bit.
Yeah, like a stone fruit kind of in there somewhere.
Yeah, or like mango cola, like a mango flavor, like a but not, it's not like we've had mango Pepsi, right? We've had that stuff. It's not that, but it's really interesting. They call it the Coke Y3000. Tastes like the future. But I was like, that's fine. Like this is one of those drinks where I'm like, I like tasting the Coke creations, but I'm like, I will buy one of these and that is it. Like I know better. Like none of these are like, oh my God, my favorite thing in the world. I will say I didn't get to try the regular. I only had the zero sugar flavor. I didn't have the regular because for some reason the bottle exploded in my fridge. Like literally no like nothing happened to it. It was still sealed. I looked at the cap, but the cap had bulged outwards and like it just like gone everywhere. So we could not figure out what was up with that. So I'm gonna have to try a regular one this week. Just as Mike always says, don't drink your calories, folks. But I've got to try the regular sugar flavor just to see what we're missing there. Right beside me, you can hear right this right, Mike. Mountain Dew Voo Dew 2023. And I've got the zero sugar flavor here. And can you guess what I think this flavor is, Mike?
Well, I haven't had a chance to try it, but The very first Voo Dew was candy corn.
Candy corn.
But then you also enlightened to me over the years that they've kind of just like rehashed other flavors that they've done.
A Skittles.
Kind of like rebottled them and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's a Skittles, a Starburst. Last year was a Sour Patch Kids.
I mean, I'll just take a... So do we think it's another candy? Is kind of what we're leaning into?
Yes, I do. I do think it's another name brand candy, or whatever they're going to call it.
It's got to be sugar adjacent. Maybe like Mike and Ike's would be
no,
my guess.
It's Sweet Tarts again. I'm pretty sure that this is Fanta and this are using the same flavor this year to mix it.
Well, we got to do like a blind taste test. That's
right.
got to happen.
Yeah. So I've had both the regular and zero sugar of these because I had to buy 12. I had to buy the 12 packs because I didn't see the regular bottles. And I'll drink Mountain Dew over like 6 months, so it'll be fine. But it very much it has a sweet tart taste to it. Now it's not like a straight sweet tart soda. It is very much you mix the sweet tart soda with a Mountain Dew. Like I might try a 50-50 with the Fanta. And then put a warning on me, like a little bracelet for people that find me passed out and they're like, why is everything green?
But the Voo Dew, right? It's clear colored.
Yes, it is clear colored.
So this might be the safest approach for human beings out there in the world, if they want to avoid, just the trauma,
the horror of looking down. And honestly, don't take photos. Like Mike said, don't do photos. We don't need to see that. But Mountain Dew Voo Dew, I would definitely recommend this if you want to try it. It's not as punchy as a regular Mountain Dew, if I will. It's like maybe a little softer, so very, very easy on the palate. Probably goes great with vodka. At the end of the day, like all Mountain Dew. The other thing I got my hands on this week literally was Lay's has been doing mixed flavor mix-ups with the other companies they own, and I finally got the Cheetos cheese flavored chips this week. Have you had these yet?
I've had these, and I think that these were out possibly last year as well, but maybe it wasn't like a wide release.
This is the first I've seen them here. And they say new on the bag, so maybe it possibly could have been somewhere else, like a small batch or something like that. Maybe. But these are the orangest chips I've ever seen in my life, like unnaturally orange.
I think they're really good.
Yeah, I do too. I think they were. I had this with literally my Coke Y3000. I'm like, we're gonna be mixing and matching over here. I think
you're snacking in the future, man.
That's right. I don't like Ruffles chips. There's something about the texture, but I like their cheddar cheese Ruffles like they have. So this was a good opportunity to have cheese flavored chips without the Ruffles. So
this is one of the few exceptions. Like I said at the top of this snack segment, is usually there's like these gimmicky flavors that they're good for like one buy, and then you go back to the core flavor family, right?
Yeah.
But I'd say this one's good. This is just straight up a good cheese flavored chip, which you usually don't get just cheese a lot of the times.
Right.
But,
and it says it's Cheetos cheese, and I get it a little bit, but like. It's not as powerful as a Cheeto, right? Like it's something about how they bake the Cheetos. This is much smaller, much thinner chip, so the cheese to chip ratio is a little more solid at the end of the day. They also have Funyuns and Cool Ranch Lay's as well. Are the other two flavors out in the wild if you see those. And lastly, the biggest news thing here is interesting. I want to bring this up is that McDonald's is phasing out their self-serve soda fountains. I don't know if you heard this. They literally want to, over the next 9 years, bring them back across the counter so you have to go back up to get your refills.
Yeah, I saw this, and at first I was like, where's my pitchfork? Where's my tar and feathers? Let's get out there in these streets and let them know what we mean. But then I thought about it, and I was like, actually, yeah, I can't remember the last time I went into a McDonald's. Really? I'm almost exclusively going through the drive-thru to get my quick fix. So... yeah, I could see, they have the data. I mean, they're a giant corporation that I'm sure has a lot of data scientists up in there. And they're like, yeah, nobody's going into these restaurants anymore. Yeah, there are people, but not as many as before.
Well, if you're going in, it's probably you're ordering to go as well sometimes. And then also, at the same time, I'm sure there's always money involved in these big company decisions. Like, hey, if we charge per cup, we're not going to be giving out as many refills kind of deal. That's going to change all their billboards. But this is a 9-year phase out, which is interesting because have you ever been to a McAllister's Deli, Mike?
I haven't, but I'm familiar.
So these are one of the restaurants where you have to go back up to get your drinks. They don't have drink machines facing the customers. Like this is what they're moving to. We went to McAllister's Monday, and it was the first McAllister's I've ever seen with a customer-facing soda machine. I'm like, oh, everybody is flip-flopping on what they're doing right now. And I don't know what to think about this because
competition in the wild, man.
Yeah, it's really just like, I wouldn't say it's not out of control. It's not a problem. I was like, oh, this news is interesting because I've literally seen McAllister do the opposite. It also comes along with news that McDonald's is doing smaller restaurants, like more like drive-through only versions in some markets. So that lines up with what you said. Like, you don't go into a McDonald's. You just want to get your food and keep going right down the road. So, yeah, I'd recommend, go get your unlimited refills in McDonald's while you can, while you're eating your as seen on meals, Mike, with your Loki sweet and sour sauce.
That was nice. I like this snack time segment. If you're tuning into the live stream for the first time, we don't normally do this, but we like doing it. So whenever I feel like we get enough snack news, we like to do a little segment. But we swear, normally on a weekly basis, we are talking about superheroes.
Yes, yeah. This is a fun one because Halloween is coming. Halloween candy. We're talking more about that. But yeah, so let's jump into. We're gonna beat around the bush here. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom dropped a teaser trailer on Monday. A teaser for the trailer. Sorry, not a teaser. A teaser for the trailer on Monday and the trailer on Thursday. And this is the first time we've got a chance to really look at this movie since I think they released a couple photos 2-3 years ago with Jason Momoa in outfits. And a lot of it, we don't know. This is the last DCEU film. Amber Heard has been in the news quite a bit with her lawsuits early this year, late last year. This has just been a big what's going on, if you will. And I don't think this trailer helped me figure out what was going on, Mike.
This trailer gave me live action Lion King vibes of like, is this really is this an animated feature? Should this be put in a different category? Mm-hmm. Like, I know Jason Momoa is there, but it doesn't really feel like he's in any of these scenes.
He is there because he is Aquadaddy right now to his Aqua baby. Because of all the reporting I've done, I'd never actually seen any news that he was going to have a kid in this movie. And I was like, whoa. Kind of a shock.
Which is really funny considering I would assume Mara/Amber Heard is the mother as far as we can tell from the one movie that we have. And she is in exactly one shot of the trailer.
1.5. She's actually in one scene running towards the burning down house. But it's like during a fade, so you can't see it. But
so do we think she's dying in that burning down house? It seems like she's not going to be around.
No, I think his dad and the baby might be killed in the burning down house.
Oh my
gosh,
Chris, no.
What? We're not killing
Tamara Morrison.
Yeah,
not right. Tamara Morrison.
Yeah, he's doing great. He's back in Star Wars right now. He doesn't need Aquaman money. But the other rumor I've heard that is Mara will eventually possibly die at some time. Now, the funny part about this trailer is, I think I sent this to you, they reuse shots from the first Aquaman in this. Like when he's like on a beach, like the mystery beach where he finds his mom for the first time in the first one. They reuse the exact same shot from Aquaman 1. They've had 4 years to work on this. Well, no, 5, 2018, wasn't it? So you really think they'd have at least one other clip they could put in here.
Are you sure this wasn't like a Shazam 2 style where they're actually flashing back, recreating the scene? He's just wearing a slightly different shirt.
But do you put it in the trailer? No, it's the same outfit. Same outfit. It's bad. But do you need to put that in your trailer? I don't think so. So we get to see some of Orm return, his brother, right? We get to see a little bit of that. We get to see the guy he plays Black Mana coming back with a black trident, obviously, which is green as well.
There's like some spooky kind of like goblin looking people with green glowing eyes. They look pretty cool, very like James Wan. I'm sure that was his favorite day on set of when he got to overlook the concepts costumes for these creatures. But I mean, what's the desire here? I mean, what happens after we watch this movie? Are we getting? Is there any chance that the third one happens? Is the actor strike going to be over by the time this rolls out? Is anyone going to be out there promoting it?
The other news report is that Warner Brothers has essentially given up on this movie. They're not putting any marketing dollars behind it. They're going to release it, call it a wash at the end of the day, which is at least more than Batgirl got if you look at what they did with that. But I'm not really excited to watch this. I don't know. I don't know. it's not like it doesn't look bad, but there's nothing there to really pull me in, right? Like, it's been so long since we've had this.
Yeah, I mean, we've kind of seen like rumors out there on the web that the movie is just boring. Early on, before I think the summer rolled through, we saw people that were at early screenings that say it's the worst DC movie that they've ever seen. I mean, looking at the trailer, I kind of just look like I'm getting more of the same from the first Aquaman. And I thought the first Aquaman was fine. But I think what we've seen from the trajectory of these last couple kind of Zack Snyder verse heroes is like, if you want to survive the Peter Safran, James Gunn like purge, you're gonna have to do way better than just okay. You're gonna have to like break like box office or cinema score records or something to stay alive. And I just feel like this doesn't quite have that gas behind it,
Right, and I think it's got Jason Momoa. He's obviously a great actor. He does a great job. I don't think he's the problem here, right? It just looks like you said, uninspired. Really, at the end of the day.
He says "wahoo" and like knocks a statue over and turns it into a bridge. Like, that looks fun.
Yeah,
he's running around like he's like 12 years old. Like, I'm sure this will be fun.
Playing the goofy guy to his brother, straight man, right? Like, and that's the journey here. But yeah, I'm just not feeling it yet, and hopefully they can come out with this. Now, I will say in the teaser trailer, there's some really bad CGI for Nicole Kidman, and someone was like, you need to fire your agent for putting you in this movie, or at least letting them release this. So, obviously with underwater scenes, a lot of underwater, there's some weird stuff kind of going on. But I like James Wan's underwater world building that he did in the first one, right? Like the creatures, the society. Like, it's not just, hey, we have a city underwater. And, I feel even, was it Wakanda Forever? Namor was like a very dark city. We didn't see a lot of it, right? So at least with the bright underwater colors of Atlantis here, it feels like a real city that's lived in, and maybe we can have at least a little pull out of that at the end of the day. The last thing we'll add, I did see some reports earlier, corroborated by two different people, that at some point, you mentioned the test screenings, people walked out of the test screenings, like the free test screenings. So I was like, oh. Okay.
I don't think you can do. Can you imagine what the people who are there to collect opinions of the movie do when they see people like walk out? Like, excuse me, you're not going to the bathroom? Like, where are you going? Hold on. I need.
Hey, I'm like, because they lock your phones away. You're like, hey, I need my phone back. I'm going home. Like, I don't want to. I can't sit through this anymore. So I'd be interested. Like, knowing that news kind of makes me want to watch it even more a little bit. I'm like, is it that bad? Can I sit through this movie without walking out of it? Let the games begin. So this comes out December. Obviously, we'll keep you guys posted as we get closer to it. Blue Beetle did well at the box office. It's not a smash. It didn't break records or waves, but it was for a movie that was originally on streaming, was one of the best DC movies this year. Aquaman will be the next and last until Superman Legacy, I believe. In the meantime, you can get your fix on the DCU on Max with the upcoming show Kite Man, Hell Yeah, which is a spinoff of the Harley Quinn show, which has wrapped up its 4th season.
This is a crazy bullet point for me, Chris, because I've only seen like 1.5 episodes of Harley Quinn.
Yep.
And I remember Kite Man, and I was like, oh, he was pretty like a crazy character, but I was not expecting a full spinoff of that. I thought he was a joke character. I didn't know he was like a thing.
Yeah, he kind of is still a joke character in here. Kind of goofy. If you watch this, it is adult oriented, if you will. But he's gonna be kind of goofy here. But it's about Kite Man, who was a little bit there. I don't know much else about this character. I've not watched a lot of Harley Quinn, but it is kind of gory and kind of dark. So it could be fun. But it's coming to Max in 2024. Do you think Harley Quinn just wrapped on its 4th season and kind of like not maybe a cliffhanger, but kind of a cliffhanger? Do you think that like that show will get a 5th season? Like, I feel like this is something that can live on in tandem with the Gunn Safran stuff because it's so out there and obscure. Maybe.
Yeah, I think an audience is at least smart enough to realize that this is totally different. And I feel like the art, whatever kind of art style or animation style that they're gonna do with that. Not Doom Patrol. Demon Squad? What's it called? I don't even remember.
I know what
Monster Squad, whatever it's called.
I know what you're talking about.
I feel like that's going to be maybe slightly more refined, Whereas I'm not saying, Harley Quinn is like bad animation, but it fits with the comedic style.
With the zaniness of it,
Yeah.
And I feel, what is that show called? It's going to be more kind of Invincible, maybe, in its artwork a little bit.
We're both just like James Gunn anime. I'm just Googling it. Animated series. Let's see what it says. Creature Commandos. We were dotting all around it. We got close.
Yeah, we were getting there. I was like, it's got a
Monster Squad.
It's got a Frankenstein and like a werewolf or something. So, anyway, so yes, check out the teaser trailer on Instagram. Here it is adult oriented, so probably wouldn't want to listen to that out loud at work, but you can check it out here. Shifting gears a little bit, we're going to revisit the world of Pandora, Mike. James Gunn's World Away from Worlds. And with the Avatar Frontiers of Pandora game has got a new gameplay and story trailer released. Really just kind of flexing, I guess, the technology they're showing off in this game, right? Like a lot of foliage, a lot of, some battles here and there, but it seems very, again, people are like, oh, this looks like Far Cry, but on Pandora. And to me, that's perfectly okay. It sounds, that works.
Yeah, I would say that the trailer was kind of just more of a helpful reminder that the game exists and is coming out. But I couldn't really discern anything from this one compared to the one that we saw a few months back. Just cool shots of Pandora, different mounts that we can ride. At least it reminded me that it is bow-based combat, at least in part, and I love first-person bow-based combat. Like, I eat up raiding camps in Far Cry with like bows because it's like so satisfying just to stealthily go through there and like pick everybody off. And then you alert like the last guy left and he realizes, I got no one else to call. They're all dead, and then you murder them. Yeah,
so it seems very much like, hey, there's a stealth portion, but you can also go in guns blazing if you happen to have them as well. I don't know how big the world of Pandora will be here, but or if DLC is involved, with Avatar 3 coming out, I believe it's next year, right? Or no, a couple years. They delayed all these. But it feels like, hey, you want to go do the Ocean World? Here's the Ocean Land DLC, right? Or here's the Fire Nation DLC kind of thing. Just kind of build on this a little bit. But I'm excited. This is, maybe some free roaming in Pandora will be fun. Really getting to know the flora and fauna of that a little bit better. I think it'll be a good time. So this game is coming out, I think, in December, November, December. Looks to be a pretty good get this year. It's a year for gaming. I'll tell you that at the end of the day. So, and that'll jump us right into what we talked about at the top show, Spider-Man 2, coming out on PlayStation 5 in a month from now. And there was a new PlayStation State of Play this week where they showed off some gameplay and some technical things, including the extended New York City, right? 2 islands. They're not really islands. We know. We went over this earlier in the show. But you have the 2 boroughs and then the main island there that we got in the first game. And what they mentioned is you can literally swap between Miles and Peter instantly in this game, Mike. Like, there's no loading screen.
I do believe I did catch they said either nearly or almost instantly.
Yeah.
So it seems like they will be doing some sort of maybe canned animation so they can kind of hide a little bit of loading, but still, it seems to be very quick.
Yeah, they seem like one of them shows it went from Miles to Peter, and Peter was doing sit-ups upside down on a wall of a building, and you're like, yeah, that's fine. And then you can also travel 3 times as fast through the city with the web wings and the swinging, and I believe I think you can actually fast travel almost near instantaneously as well through this city with the power of the SSD on the PlayStation 5s. Because they weren't able to load it this fast before, so you can go really, really fast to the city, which I'm excited to experience that speed in this game.
Once you it's like I said, I'm playing Tears of the Kingdom right now, and I told myself I have to beat this game in 4 weeks because I guess roughly maybe it's 5 weeks, because when Spider-Man comes out, I can't code switch in my brain between the 2 controllers. It took me so long to remap my brain for a Nintendo controller that when I switch over to Spider-Man, I'm going to need all of my mental faculties, because it asks a lot of the player, so they have to ramp you up slowly through the game with tutorials. And even though I've played 2 of these games, the first one and Miles, I don't have any of my muscle memory back, so I'm going to need to be
circle is dodge. Circle it, that's all I got.
My hand is going to need to be held as I go through this process, and I can't switch back to the Tears of the Kingdom while I'm doing that. That's insanity. So I'm looking forward to getting my my moves back, and then accelerating through those skyscrapers faster than ever before.
Yeah.
I was excited to see that they're saying Queens and Brooklyn are extensions of the game map, because in the previous trailer they weren't really clear exactly what brings you to these locations, right? Because they show Peter in the Venom suit in Queens, mucking up with some of the Kraven baddies. Yeah. But we've gone to other places in the Spider-Man games that aren't accessible with the map. Like when you go to the prison, right? You can't go back there whenever you want after that. It's during a story moment. So I thought, maybe that's going to be a story moment going to Queens, and we won't be able to go back there. So it's really cool now that everything's opened up, and now we can really kind of take advantage of the bridges too, because the bridges of New York City are so iconic that I'm sure that there's going to be missions all up and around those bridges. I guarantee there's going to be bombs over those bridges.
People being thrown off by villains, and and they also say if you want to get between the islands, you can swing, but they do have the jet streams to get you over there very quickly, so you're not
that's cool too. So maybe if you're not near a bridge, you can just
you just pop on over there. So but that's very exciting. And then they also kind of said there are 65 or more suits coming to this game across both Spider-Man and Miles, including what they showed off was a Spider-Man 3 black suit, the Sam Raimi black suit, which I thought was really fun addition, because obviously you have a black suit in this game, but every suit has, I think, 4 or 5 color palettes as well, putting this well over they said 250 plus different suits.
It seemed a little bit like Smash Brothers, when you kind of change the color layout of your costume. I think I'm in the minority with the costumes, whereas I like to pick suits that kind of exist canonically in some sort of story or something like that. Mm-hmm. They have cool looking suits that are super futuristic or technology based, or they had this kind of regal kind of medieval suit for Spider-Man. I'm these look cool, but I'm not gonna really equip those, because I want to feel like I am Spider-Man. I don't want to feel like I'm some sort of weird alternate action figure that's never existed before.
Well, and what a lot, again, it's not for me either, but a lot of people do play with the photo mode in this game quite a bit, right? And they have done a really good job with the photo mode, the details on these suits. So I expect to see some fun images, but I'm not as much fun as that. Like you mentioned, the Bridgerton suit is what I was calling it. I guess I couldn't think of it. The Bridgerton suit for Spider-Man. I don't really care for this too much, but it is in the comic books, so I'm glad they put it in there. But I'm excited to see the whole set as you unlock them.
Yeah, and also too, if you put a lot of hours into this game and you beat it 3 or 4 times, maybe you'll start dipping into those 100th variation of a suit.
Sometimes you're just what's it going to be like to be Goofy this time around? It'll look weird. So. We'll check that out. That comes out October 20th. So literally about 4 weeks away, like you said. And in that game, same vein, the studio that's doing Spider-Man is doing the Wolverine game for PlayStation. And the game is rumored to release winter 2024 on PlayStation 5, with a majority of the Spider-Man team now transitioning over to work on this to get it across that finish line. I'm excited for this. I want to see more game. I want to see gameplay. I want to see footage of it. I love Wolverine, X-Men Origins Wolverine. Even though the movie sucked, the game was a Wolverine game before they tied it into the movie, and it's fantastic. So I'm really excited to have a good one again.
I didn't think I would be bringing it up on the show today, but the wife and I have been rewatching Friday Night Lights, which is something that we do on occasion, binge through the whole series. And Tim Riggins, who also the same actor played John Carter. I can't remember the actor's name off the top of my head.
Taylor Kitsch.
Taylor Kitsch, that's right. As we all know, he was Gambit in Wolverine Origins. And the season that we're currently watching, season 3, aired in 2009. And at the end of the season, he wakes up in his bed, and there's just a very obviously staged X-Men comic book placed right by his alarm clock. The character is kind of infamously known for probably never reading a word in his life. So the fact that he would even read a comic book or be nerdy in any way is far-fetched. But I was that's gotta be for a reason. And then I looked it up, and I was oh yeah, this all happened in the same year when he did Wolverine Origins. So that was a fun little Easter egg.
Yeah. And then also I found out today there was a regular Nintendo game for Wolverine. I did not know this until earlier today. I was like, huh. No. The NES had one. So Wolverine coming to PlayStation 5 hopefully next year. I think that'll be another, a good game to get. Like I think it'll be R-rated, bloody, a little different than Spider-Man. You're not swinging around. Maybe he'll be more grounded and a lot more wilderness focus. So we'll keep you guys posted. And over in the Spider-Man world, more bad news. People are losing sleep over this, Mike. Bad Bunny is no longer attached to the Spider-Man El Muerto project.
All right.
I never thought this was ever going to happen. Did you? Like, this is one of those things I'm like, yeah, I get why you're saying it. You're latching on to, like, Artist of the Year kind of thing and, like, running with it. But, like, I never once thought they would actually believe this was going to come out.
I mean, these were all of these producers and executives were riding the financial box office high of Venom, and not a single one of them was like, do we think we should look at the critical reception of this movie and maybe not just the financial return before we, I don't know, launch this whole universe? My
guess is they were like, hey, Spider-Man 3 No Way Home did $1 billion, right? In a pandemic. Venom 2's out, it probably made some money, but like if we say to our investors, right, to the board, we're making all these movies, they're gonna be super excited because Spider-Man made $1 billion during a pandemic. What can we do? What can we latch on to? And obviously Bad Bunny, he's a great artist. He's got lots of music, lots of fans, does makes his living that way. It was really good in Bullet Train. I don't know if you've seen Bullet Train. I don't remember if you had. He was really great in Bullet Train. But boy, was this movie just like, everyone's just like, why? Of all the things you could have done. So
it's just like, I haven't even seen El Muerto in one of my many Spider-Man games. If he can't even make it as a tertiary character in a video game, I don't know if he's going to be making it into the movies just yet.
Right. Yeah. I keep forgetting we're still waiting on their Spider-Woman movie. Was it?
With Dakota. No, not Dakota Fanning.
Yeah, Sydney Sweeney is in it, and
Dakota, someone else, whoever was in those 50 Shades of Grey movie. I thought it was Dakota something.
It's Dakota Johnson, I'm pretty sure.
There it is, Johnson.
Yes.
I knew there was a Dakota in there somewhere.
Yeah, and Adam Scott as Uncle Ben. Yeah. So, golly, we have got so many weird Spider-Man things on our plate coming up. So we'll talk more about those next year. Things that can change, though, over time include transitioning from series to movies, and that sounds like what's happening with the show Lando. It sounds like Donald Glover said that this is now, he's working on a movie of Lando, not a series anymore. So does that mean it's still Disney Plus based? Do you think they're going to put it out in theaters to make it more event based, fit in that Iger, thought process? Where do you put this at, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, to me, series maybe makes a little bit of sense, just because I want my movie universes to ladder up to big, exciting things, right? I think that was one thing that was a bit of a bummer with Solo. I knew it wasn't really going anywhere. I know not all movies have to do that. Not every time you go to the movie theater, I have to have fireworks blown off in front of my eyeballs, right? Mm-hmm. But if it's a Star Wars movie, maybe I want something big and exciting going on, and I feel like maybe Lando is a character that could fit a little bit better in a series.
Yeah, and I think, this is one of those things, series that was announced, and there's been really no traction on it. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about how it transitioned to the Glover brothers working on it, right, rather than the whoever was on it originally. And now, it's going to a movie. My guess is, they're like, look, Disney Plus is hemorrhaging money. We can't put it as a series anymore. If you want to continue this, we got to transition it to a movie. I'm as someone who really enjoys the movie Solo and thinks Donald Glover does a great Lando Calrissian. Do we need a Lando movie even? It's a weird kind of grab out of air, right? What do you do with him?
And also, the character had such a lame ending, in that last Star Wars. I always forget the name of it. Rise of Skywalker, the last Skywalker. What Skywalker?
Rise of Skywalker, probably.
Yeah, they basically were just like, "Hey, guess what? I think I'm your daughter. Let's go off in a spaceship." And I'm like, "What is happening here?" So, but I don't know.
Yeah,
it's a cool character. If I was Disney, I feel like I'd be like, I don't want to lose Donald Glover and his talent. I want to keep him around, so it sucks that we can't do the movie, but let's at least try to keep them, in the clubhouse.
Mm-hmm. You mean the series?
Yeah,
he's doing the movie.
Keep them in the Mickey Mouse clubhouse.
Yeah. You are trapped now, Donald Glover. You can't get out. But yeah, I don't know. We'll figure out more of this as we kind of move towards it, and Disney kind of gives us some more solid slate after the strikes resolve. In case people didn't know this, the Marvels was originally not going to release in IMAX this fall because Dune had booked the slots with Warner Brothers, and Dune is now moved to March. So that means the Marvels now has an IMAX teasers, and it will be opened up to more IMAX screens later this winter when that comes out in November. So I will always tell this, if you have Disney Plus, you can watch the IMAX versions through their streaming service. And I think that's a great plus that a lot of people, if you have an IMAX version and you have a streaming service, you should put it on there. Like, that would be a great thing for everybody. So I'm happy Marvel does it. Do I need to go see the IMAX version in theaters of the Marvels? Probably not, but I'm glad it's going to get some of those screens, Mike.
I just finished watching the trailer, and a recommended tile at the very end is the Marvels leaked post-credit scene, cameos explained. And I know it's going to be bullshit, but I'm not going to click on it. I'm not going to give them the satisfaction.
Don't click on it, Mike. Don't do it. My favorite thing lately, the thing I hate the most in the world is when you go to try to find you type in like, hey, we're looking up the Lando images for our podcast, right? Like when we put them in the title, and you're always like Lando Disney Plus trailer released. And I'm like, no, it wasn't. Stop this. Quit making these fake trailers and putting them out here.
Who are you fooling?
Yeah. A lot of people have fallen for stuff on the internet this week or the past couple weeks, Mike. Like, they're like, oh my gosh, there's this, show coming out with all these actors. I'm like, no, it's not. Look at the source. Like, that's just like a fan site doing their fan casting. None of this is happening.
I thought you were going to talk about those Mexican aliens, man.
Yeah. No.
Come on. Did anyone see those? I believed.
You believed?
Like 5 minutes that it was. I was like, oh man, this could be real. This would be so cool. And I love the story of it. Like, I loved how they were like, we found these in like an old mine, and we think they're they're over like 1,000 years old. Like, oh, I never even thought about like we could discover aliens, but they're fossilized aliens. They've been here and they came and they didn't like it and they never came back, and then it was all debunked.
That's how Beast Wars happened.
Like weird thing. Oh my God, Chris. Total another tangent here. I forgot that movie existed. I forgot the
Rise of the Beast
movie came out this year, and I was like, oh wow, talk about most unsuccessful kind of relaunch of a property. If I forgot it even existed.
Well, someone talked to me about Fast 10. I'm like, oh yeah, Fast 10 was this year, wasn't it? As well. I was like, there's been a lot of movies this year. Nothing stuck, but there's been a lot of movies coming out this year, for sure. But next year, I guess actually this year, you can revisit last year's movie or / show, Werewolf by Night on Disney Plus, with a colorized version coming out. So the director, I believe, I forget his name, he does all the music. He has gone back and they've recolorized Werewolf by Night entirely. As you may know, 99% of the movie is black and white, but they've recolorized it with the vibrant colors to re-release it or just add a color version on Disney Plus. And it will also, I believe maybe the original one, maybe the colorized version, I don't know, will stream on Hulu through October 31st for the spooky season on Hulu.
Yeah. There was like a little clip of it going around, and it does feel like it's colorized. It doesn't feel like, oh, we took colored film originally and turned it black and white. This feels like they're taking black and white film and like almost like applying some sort of like post process to it to make it colorized. It feels very odd, but it does feel like almost like an homage to more like like vintage films when like they just started like manufacturing like colored film and stuff like that. So that's what at least makes it feel a little special in a way, right? It doesn't seem like, oh, everything's on strike and we need new content. Let's just start colorizing anything that's black and white. So at least it feels like there's a purpose to it to at least kind of fit into another like technique.
And it feels like it's literally vibrancy boosted, right? As well, like it feels like you mentioned, they didn't just turn off the black and white filter. Like there is some punchiness to it that makes it feel like horror films. It feels
like you're at like a really old drive-in or something like that. But this gives me like this is a good marketing technique because we are coming up on the spooky season. And even though I really liked Werewolf by Night, I forgot it existed.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is a good technique to remind people out there that this exists. And I will watch it again.
And another great, a little boost for Disney Plus. You just choose which version you want on the movie. That's great. Mm-hmm. So I'm very excited to revisit that when they launch it, and we'll probably talk about it when it does. Also, if you were unable to visit Disneyland this summer and watch Rogers the Musical on September 15th, so last Friday, you can now listen to Rogers the Musical at home. And we've included a little teaser from Hollywood Records in here. So if you want to go get the soundtrack, you can listen to the soundtrack as well.
Yeah. I never had a chance to go see it, which is a bummer, but I'm sure they didn't burn all the sets or the costumes, so they must still exist. So I wonder if they'll just kind of bring it back out, occasionally as not like a marketing trick, but a special occasion. Possibly bring it to. I wonder if they can bring it to Florida, because I know that they have some rules and restrictions of what.
I don't know where they'd put it. Yeah, that's going to be the big thing, because they had it. I don't know where they put it. But
they put it at the Hyperion Theater, which existed before that. It existed in California Adventure before the musical was ever created. Yeah. So they could put it theoretically anywhere, but it does not seem like this is gone forever.
You know
it seems
what?
Like it will come back at some point.
Maybe they filmed it and put it out. So maybe they'll put it on Disney Plus for us.
Clever.
I would watch this on Disney Plus in a heartbeat. Yeah, give me some more Marvel content. We'll throw it in here. I'll put it in my MCU playlist right in between that Hawkeye episode it was on. I think.
Where does the Rogers musical fall in the Marvel timeline?
Yeah, the MCU timeline.
I'm guessing right around Avengers.
I would say it's technically, I guess, in between Hawkeye episode 1 and 2, isn't it? Where they watched it.
Yeah, but I guess if the thematically of what is in the play.
Yeah, well, then it would actually technically be in-game, because it's Scott Lang's telling of the events.
I guess.
Yeah, right? This is confusing. You know what? We have Loki in a couple weeks. Mike. We'll just focus that. Lastly, as I mentioned at the top show, we're back to One Piece, because I can't stop thinking about One Piece, Mike. And becoming the king of the pirates. But season 2 has been confirmed by Netflix in a rare case of being, approved another season very quickly after the other one went off the air or debuted, if you will. So
I feel like this is the first sign that maybe this anime curse is broken, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess Detective Pikachu technically was a Western mainstream anime adaptation, but not. That's
of a video game.
But kind of, It is also anime, but we still haven't seen a sequel yet, right? Yeah. So it seems like we're going to get a second season of One Piece before we'll get a sequel to Detective Pikachu.
Right.
I don't know, maybe it'll be like an arms race to see who will come out first.
Oh, it's not Pokemon. They're not working on it, so you're good.
Yeah, but it just seems like this is a really good sign, right? We all know Cowboy Bebop got canceled before I even finished watching the first season. I've never seen any other anime stuff get this kind of exposure. This is really cool.
And it's very interesting. Anime is everywhere. I'm waiting on them to do the live action My Hero Academia announcement, right? Because I feel like that's ripe for the picking right now. And then what's the other one? Did they ever do a live action Naruto? Has that been a thing?
Oh God! Well, the thing is, I feel like Japan itself has made live action versions of.
We don't count those. Yeah, because it's not because we don't count them. It's because they never make it to the States, right?
Yeah,
they never come
we're talking about the cultural transition to the more of the Western live action audience, if you will. You brought up a good point in a text message a couple days ago, Chris. We wish they could do something like this with Dragon Ball, right?
Yeah.
And I love the idea with literal Dragon Ball, though, because I feel like before you get to Dragon Ball Z and you're just in the Dragon Ball world, the Dragon Ball world itself, it feels more in line with something like One Piece, right? Where there's goofy characters, wacky villains. The threat of death, is there. But once you get to Dragon Ball Z and so on, you're talking about entire planets exploding, universes, like other dimensions,
is well, Dragon Ball and One Piece, they have that youthful innocence about them, right? Like the main character has that youthful innocence on their journey. Like, yes, I'm doing what I enjoy, and I'm here to help my friends. Literally, it's almost like the same when you lay it out like it's like the same kind of story, and that's great. And I would love to see it with Dragon Ball. Something I just thought of, Digimon getting a live action kind of thing would be interesting. Right, when you were out Detective Pikachu and live action Pokemon, like Digimon never got a live action, course. That was another big thing here. Superfan Jim just brought up Demon Slayer. I don't know much about Demon Slayer, gonna be honest.
I mean, that's the hot one, right? That's one of
that's
the
big one,
out there right now. But I think we are onto something here. There needs to be kind of like this youthful exuberance, kind of cartoony, wacky element to adapting your source material, right? Because we've seen the adaptation of something more serious like Cowboy Bebop,
like Dragon Ball.
I guess, yeah. And also Netflix did Death Note somewhat recently. It just seems like those themes don't quite translate as well to live action when you have to be totally serious about it. So. I'm sure someday someone might figure it out, but if you want an easier go at it, seems like pick something wacky.
Yeah, well, exactly, something that has interesting characters, an interesting world, and rules that are not normal, right? That you don't deal with every day. And that's where I think Dragon Ball, the original Dragon Ball before Z, it lives in that. And I'm just I really hope, as I said in the top show, that this Netflix energy, this chance to do something well with this carries over to its Avatar live action show, and the fans get a really, really good Avatar show out of this, because I think they deserve it after waiting for so long and honestly not literally torching Hollywood to the ground for the movie that came out in the late 2000s.
I feel like an Avatar series at the very least facilitates 3 seasons to kind of tell a full story, but I think 4 would be better. I saw a headline that said the creators of the live action One Piece have kind of like a 5-season arc in their head that they'd like to do. But this goes back to the point that we've been talking about all summer. If these studios want to get back to work, they're going to have to end this strike. They're going to have to bring everybody back, pay everybody what they're worth, because you have this huge hit on your hands, right? This One Piece could be their next Stranger Things, which is about to end. They're going to need a huge smash hit. And if you're not getting people back to work, if you're not making the next season, is the energy for One Piece season 2 going to be there if we have to wait 2 years until we see it, right? It'd be better if it was 2024 we get the next season. You can't really do those big gaps until your show is already insanely popular. Like Stranger Things can get away with two and a half years before the next season, but we just got One Piece started, so let's pay these writers, let's pay these actors, let's get back to work. So
what they asked for and what they've lost is they've lost 10 times more than what the writers asked for, because exactly. I'm like you could have had this done forever ago. So hopefully they do. This gets resolved in a manner that works well for the people who rely on it. So but other than that, Mike, this has been a good show. It's a little later for us, so I'm going to go and get this edited. But if you joined us on YouTube, such as Jim and anyone else who's out there watching, I think we've had 2, maybe 3 watchers. We had 4 watchers at one point. So thank you for joining us.
Not too bad for a totally unannounced live stream experiment.
Just to test it and see how it works. So it was a good time. Thanks everybody, and what we'll do, Mike, if people know more about what you're doing, what you're up to, where can they find you at, man?
Well, they can find me at Mike Royer Design on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. You can read my webcomic at liferewardsrisk.com. Chris, if people want to catch up with you, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Valdan87, or come back to the show every week, where we'll be working and testing on new technology to just have some fun with this show. And if people want to know more about the show, get ready for our upcoming, we'll probably do a One Piece review episode. I think it warrants it at this point. We've had requests.
We're so close. I'm basically there.
That'll probably be our next review episode. People can come find that. Where can they get all those goodies at?
Oh, all you got to do is head on over to superheroslate.com. That is our goat boat. I don't remember what Luffy calls the
It's
boat,
the Going Merry, named after Mary.
Yes, that's right. I just remember there's a goat. That's basically where we set sail over at superheroslate.com. You can find all of our show notes over there. We got an awesome, really helpful upcoming release calendar with no dumb pop-up ads or newsletter subscriptions, or I don't even think we have to worry about the cookie law that Europe passed, because we're not serving any ads or collecting any data.
We don't know if you're coming to our website, and honestly, we don't care. As long as you're getting the information you need that's correct, that's what we're here for. Exactly.
So we like to have the helpful information up there ready for you to go. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, wherever else you love to listen to find podcasts. We got merch at superheroslate.com/store. We love hearing from you. We love it now that live streams seems like they're going to be a thing. So maybe tune back next week. We roughly do it on Sundays. I don't know if we can commit to a time.
Yeah, if we're doing a live stream, it's going to be fun, and we're going to have a good time. Don't expect it, but we will try to do it. And maybe if we get a heads up, we'll throw it up online.
Yeah, we're like a pop-up shop. We're like a little food truck that you don't know when or where we're going to be, but it'll be Sunday somewhere. But superheroslate.com. We'd love to hear from you. Please reach out. Let us know what you're watching, what you're doing, what you're eating, what you're drinking, what you're snacking on. And if you want to be a super fan, all you got to do is share the show with a friend, share the show with a buddy, and we'll be here every week, folks.
That's right. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe.